It's recording.
Okay.
Probably just a matter of where it's saving.
Recording.
Okay, we're here to talk about the Suffrage Act,
Yes.
etc., etc., etc. Go, Michelle.
Did you say go, Michelle?
You're on, Michelle.
Wait a second. I thought I was the guest. I'm leading this today.
Oh,
You
she
are.
doesn't
You're on.
understand me.
He says this is not my circus.
Oh, okay. So, what are we talking about? The extra dates?
Yeah, everybody was really interested about the extra dates. Although, to be clear, the proclamation for white women to vote was 1920.
1920, right? Which
Yeah.
is not unimportant, right? I think we can all agree.
What I thought was interesting,
That was an important one.
yeah, this morning you had a live this morning, Stitch with me this morning.
Yeah,
The Indians, this is their country.
I know. That's crazy, isn't it? So, and that's what kind of got me thinking is like 1920 was fantastic for the four of us and our ancestors.
Right.
What about everybody else?
Right.
So I just Googled, and Wikipedia knows everything.
Yeah.
So, which is interesting because the right to vote is tied to citizenship.
Right.
And so, I mean, in most cases, right? Because I think white women were citizens of the United States before 1920. Were we?
Right.
Yes.
I think so, right? But we just
Yeah.
couldn't vote.
Right.
So it started, the first one I found was 1870, which was the 15th Amendment to the Constitution, which it prohibited states from denying a male citizen the right to vote based on, quote, race, color, or previous condition of servitude. So that was crafted to allow freed slaves to vote.
Oh, okay. So during before the Civil War then.
Just in the aftermath of it, 1870.
Oh, so abolitionist stuff.
Yep. But it explicitly, even though it said race, color, or previous condition of servitude, it didn't say based on sex. So it was only crafted to allow Black men to vote.
Oh, interesting.
Black women weren't allowed to vote until 1965.
That is
Wow.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy? And that was the Voting Rights Act.
Wow.
right.
And if they could get to the booth.
And that's another thing is like everything kind of deserves a bit of an asterisk because legally could Black men vote in 1870? Sure. But I mean, could Black men really actually vote in 1870?
Right.
Probably,
Right.
not everywhere, sure.
Well, probably still.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, was it still tied to land ownership then too? I felt it like, I mean, I could be wrong. I could be making this up. But I thought I remember from, high school history that you still had to be a landowner.
and that might be, I feel like it's so always political, right? Because one side wants to abolish slavery, so they give former slaves more rights. But then the other side fights back by, well, okay, you can vote if you own land.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that was kind of like that one lady that posted in the hashtag. She wasn't sure what date to put because in the UK or in London, it was
earlier, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But they had to have that servitude came in and property and how much money they made and their education.
Yeah. And then it's interesting too because so in 1924, that's the one I was talking about with Native Americans.
Right.
It was called the Snyder Act of 1924. Even though the 15th Amendment in 1870 said that you couldn't be discriminated against at the polls based on your race, that was only if you were a citizen. And Native Americans were not considered citizens of the United States.
I just don't even get that.
Until 1924 with the Snyder Act.
Wow, that's amazing.
We granted them citizenship.
Wasn't that nice of us?
It's ridiculous.
We take their land. That's insane.
Yeah.
If anyone should leave, it should be us. We should go back. We should all go back where we came from. Who would be left? The Indians.
I mean, it's too late. It's too late now.
Yeah.
I think
we're too
for
mixed.
that. That's not. I don't think that's the way forward. But
And the Indians would say, "Wait, was that a nightmare? Did I just have a nightmare?" When they woke up.
right.
She's on.
And then the next one was 1943 when Chinese immigrants were given. The
So
right
that
to
must. So
citizenship.
that was after the war, then.
That was after
World War II.
Yeah, have to
Mid?
be.
44 was when 44 was the end of World War II, I think, right?
So that was mid World War II then,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
which was interesting because so we're granting Chinese Americans, Chinese immigrants, U.S. citizenship, and we're interning Japanese Americans.
I was just gonna say because we had neighbors that were interred.
Yeah.
In,
It's
wait, that's-
problematic, isn't it? Our history.
Yeah.
Problematic.
Yeah.
As all histories are.
Yeah, I mean,
It's so interesting. Michelle, I already watched your stitch with me from this morning because stalker status.
are you my thumbs downer?
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
I didn't see a thumbs down.
Somebody gave you a thumbs down on that one?
I have. Well, I talked about politics,
Oh.
It's
but then
Not
Rosie
really,
made it. I
though.
thought Rosie would cancel out the.
the politics talk. No.
Anyway,
But I watched that and it was so interesting because you talked about how you aren't real interested in patriotic stitching. And that's, I mean, because it's such a genre in the cross stitch world, right? And I've never felt an urge to stitch anything patriotic. I think because of a lot of just the climate, and I mean, there is something to like American exceptionalism that I think we have I think we have the potential for that, but have not lived up to that
right.
in our past. And so I've never felt an urge to stitch patriotic stitching.
Mm-mm.
This, for some reason, kind of got me only because I feel like, especially white women, have really not used their voice.
Right.
Oh, amen. Amen. Yeah.
And
We've had one for 100 years.
right.
Yeah.
So, right. So I feel like, so I think it really struck something with me because as of late, I have felt the urge to use my voice in a much bigger way. And so I think that's the only reason this pattern really kind of struck me was like, I feel like we've really abdicated that voice in a lot of ways and not used it to empower people who have the same privilege.
Right. And
Yeah.
you know, I think because I'm both sides, right? Like I don't even when President Obama was in office, whom I love,
Right.
I still didn't want to stitch patriotic stuff because I'm like Halloween 365.
Yeah.
Right.
But I see what you're saying, and I was thinking about it too in terms of rows. I think to stitch this suffrage piece and to hang it up in our house is kind of a reminder for me. Not that I need a reminder to vote, but a reminder for me and a reminder for her, like how important that voice is.
Yeah.
And to use it.
Right. And to use it like, because I've always voted, like that's always been like a thing, but like that was the extent of it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I voted and I made my voice heard.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Right. I mean,
But-
baseline.
I hear what you're saying though. What more?
What
Right?
more, right? The past like few years, it does become like, well, what more can we use that voice for?
Yeah.
Yeah, because so like the Suffrage Act, there was they did civil disobedience. Not that I'm telling you guys to go out there and civil. In the 60s, we knew how to protest. Y'all don't know how to do that anymore.
I don't know if I've
We
ever
knew
been
how to
civilly
protest where it
disobedient.
mattered, where we got results.
Right.
Right.
But you know what you said this morning about Obama, Clinton, any of the Democratic people in office. So conservatives and Republicans would, I mean, like Cheryl, you didn't think, oh my God, the world's ending, right? You just went, oh, they're,
Oh no.
and and as
Of
far
course, I'm more of a centralized Republican, so I believe I'm I'm conservative fiscally.
Yes.
I tend to be more towards the left when it comes to moral issues and taking care of people, but it's how you go about doing it.
So you're socially.
I call it the humane middle.
Yeah, I think the big
Humane
issue
middle,
these
right?
days is people are afraid to speak out, period, on either side.
Or even say I'm a Democrat or I'm a conservative, I'm a Republican.
Right.
Even defining that is not, because I'm not so far, which is the side that I used to be when I was a hippie. So I'm not so there anymore. I'm more down the middle.
When you were a hippie.
Yes.
Don't make me laugh, I'll start coughing.
But I liked how you did that, and that it shouldn't be two-party. And we can't even define party anymore.
I agree
hate the
with
two-party
that.
system. I feel like there's like 5 or 6 issues that we all just divide ourselves based on, and that is so unrealistic.
Yeah.
Because like you said, Cheryl, you're a fiscal conservative. I'm a fiscal conservative too.
Right.
My grandpa used to say, if you're young and you're not a Democrat, then you have no heart. And if you're old and you're not a Republican, then you have no money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, why can't we all be like, why do we have to label is what,
right.
Yeah. And I do think that this piece, the Suffrage Act, it doesn't have to be about
labeling
or picking a side. It's just
exactly
like Aaron said.
I mean, I have, my feelings and my causes, and I'm going to, I go knock doors and phone bank for the issues and the people I care about. I think everybody should do that, whether you agree with it or not.
Right.
But it's about, we were granted this right.
Right. We were lucky.
A lot of people didn't have it yet.
And a lot of people still don't.
And a lot of people still don't. Or they technically have it, but it's too hard. There's so many barriers.
It's with an asterisk, right?
Right? It's with an asterisk. Exactly.
Even women voting.
To me, this piece is just about like a reminder to use or not be passive.
Right.
Right.
Oh my God, now I have to get mine out and start it. It's right there.
Yeah. But you were talking about not wanting to stitch patriotic or do patriotic. My husband was in the Vietnam War. After the Vietnam War, he lost all the patriotic joy.
Yeah,
and it's more like a rah-rah, he said.
Yeah.
This makes me want to, the division between people makes me want to remind them.
I think you also have to look at patriotic for yourself.
Yeah.
Like everybody, like, I love stitching patriotic stuff, but it's because I love the thought of the country as a whole.
Right.
Yeah.
And that I have the right to vote. I have the right to speak up, where I know in a lot of countries they don't.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that is why I do it. But then I totally understand why somebody wouldn't do it, because of all the atrocities that have been perpetrated.
Or, and tying that together with what Aaron said, maybe I stitch patriotic because I know like how wonderful our country can be.
Yeah.
And my form of patriotism is to remind everybody to bring it back to that, right? To use our voices and stand up for what and then to me, that's a patriotic piece.
Right.
Maybe. Yeah.
And like I said, we're lucky to
you guys are amazing.
Yes. We're lucky to have been born in the United States. We are lucky. Cheryl and I were lucky to be born in California, the northern part. We weren't born in Georgia or Alabama or, we were born where.
Nothing's wrong with being born there.
No, I know, but they were suppressed. I remember working at the public defender and my friend telling me that they still had separate bathrooms. They had, and white would get served before them. And that was in the 80s, 70s and 80s.
Yeah. So it was interesting talking to my mother-in-law this morning. I was talking to her about doing this and the Suffrage Act, and she is 90 years old. And she said to me, I say this is why it's so important, but she said to me, "Oh, Cheryl, you just do what your husband says."
Yes. I was going to say Mark's mom would have said that too.
I was like, "Oh, Mom, but you have a voice, you have opinions, and they're valuable." And I think that some of it is women still have a hard time finding their value and their voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's, no matter what age you are, we need to hear each other.
Yeah.
And we need to support each other, right? Like,
right.
It's not, I hate fashion magazines. I hate media because
Says a lady that orders clothes divided for her so that I'm kidding.
Right. No, it's men telling us how to feel about ourselves and how to treat each other.
Yeah.
And it's not cool. Like, if we would just all band together, right? All of us women just support each other.
Yeah. Instead of putting each other down or getting
or judging each other.
Yeah, it's hard though. I mean, I'm threatened by women who are prettier than me. I am threatened by women who are prettier than me. I'm putting it out there. If you're prettier than me, I see you as prettier than me, you threaten me.
Yeah.
And I try not to do it, right? I try to be, I'm like, why would she be mean to me just because she's pretty? She wouldn't. But it's my insecurity.
Oh,
yeah.
Amen. With me, it's women who have like a real career, right? Because I left my real career to do a bunch of gig work or shift work or while I was raising my kids. And exactly, like, why, they probably want what I have.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're probably like, how lucky that she can work part-time from home.
Right.
Wait, what's a real
I'm like, oh my gosh, she probably looks down on me because can you tell I have to go to Drew's like company holiday party on Saturday and hang with all of the like super Microsoft women.
Oh man, I would have trouble with that too.
Gmail.
So Colleen, do we have anything to say to that?
What? I wondered what a real career woman was. I worked from home all the time. That was the cool thing about Microsoft.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Drew works from home all the time too, from about 7 p.m. till about 1 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know what Cheryl's saying with that, because one time, you little brat child, I'm the middle child, and one time, I don't know what got into me. I think alcohol.
So you have to understand, we've owned our own business 30-some years, and I also worked a part-time job besides running our business. So,
but however, I was, out of the three of us girls, I was the most successful one.
And silence.
Look at silence, crickets. My son said, Mom.
I mean, that was a throwdown. Erin and I are staying out of that sister throwdown.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm like, oh, sister fight. I've got three girls. I don't know not to get in the middle of the three girls.
Yeah.
But I literally thought that, and then I was trying to justify it, just made it worse. I was like, well, my sisters chose husbands right the first time. I didn't. I was on welfare. I had to fight the system and blah, blah, blah. And I'm the one that look at me now.
And her husband was like, Colleen, he was like, oh, it's all right.
That's always how it is, isn't it? I feel like there's so many different gauges of success.
Yeah.
That we overlook our success. Like Erin, I'm envious, not in a bad way, but that you can like keep it all together with doing gigs and doing, and I have to go to work 40 hours a week at a hospital. I wish I could do what you do and not have to go to work 40 hours a week, but I also like my job. So, like, what's the gauge?
Exactly.
My husband's super cute. That's a win.
Retirement's the gauge.
Yeah, retirement. It's the best.
Retiring. That's the gauge. Only 30 more years for that.
Yeah. And I thought I was fiscally conservative and liberally. What is that we determined I was, Cheryl? Fiscally conservative and liberally socially
liberal.
Yeah. But I've never been fiscally conservative. Never. I'm a liar.
Generous is the problem.
Yeah, I go down rabbit holes. So, but anyway, so the Indian. Wait, what was?
Oh yeah. I forgot what we were here to talk about.
Well, we are.
Let me back it up.
So, oh, and then we didn't get
So
it.
Well, you gotta remember,
1870.
and I even said that today, there was a point where we couldn't work.
Yeah, very
Right.
frowned upon.
Right.
I
Or you
know
could only be
that
a
time.
teacher.
Yeah,
Right.
certain careers.
Oh yeah, nurse.
Certain
Mom wanted
careers,
us to
right.
be a nurse, Michelle.
So
My
yeah,
mom wanted us, one of
1870,
her daughters to be a nurse.
Black men were granted citizenship voting rights. 1965, Black women.
Yeah.
1924, Native Americans born in the U.S. And it doesn't say men or women.
Born
right?
in the U.S.
That's just what it says, okay? I'm
Okay.
just reading. 1943, Chinese immigrants were given the right to citizenship and the right to vote.
Mhm.
1971 was the 18 to 21-year-olds. Yeah, I know, that was my mom's, I think that was my mom's first election too.
Yeah.
And she was so excited because her older sister had to wait till she was 21, and my mom
Is everybody there still? Move.
So
There
the
you go.
Uniformed and Overseas Citizens Absentee Voting Act allowed for their votes to be, like, it created a mechanism for their votes to be counted.
But what year was that?
1986. Can you believe that? Like,
Fight for our country, but
yeah, so it's not just about, I mean, it's largely about skin color generally when it comes to legislature, but it's not. Sometimes it's just like a forgotten population of US citizens. somewhere else in the world.
1986. We were in Guam in the 70s, and we couldn't vote while we were in Guam.
Yeah.
And Guam was just a territory anyway, so they didn't get a vote anyway. And
Right.
we were military stationed in Guam.
Yeah. I mean, I voted when I lived in Hawaii, but the only person that didn't know I was still in the US was my grandma.
Oh.
She was like, how are you gonna get a job when you move to Hawaii? And I'm like, Grandma, Hawaii's a state though.
Yes.
And but then I asked her, like, Grandma, what year is it? And she thought she was still back in the 1950s. So legitimate concern, Hawaii was not a state.
It's one of my favorite things in White Christmas, which is like one of my favorite Christmas movies, where like Danny Kaye is talking about their buddy in the military, from the army. And they said, oh, he's been in Alaska for the past 4 months. He's been out of the country.
I never heard that.
The kids were like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, this was before Alaska was like.
Right. Now we have to talk a little bit about, when the states were admitted.
Yes.
Right.
That matters. That matters. In fact, Massachusetts, it's federal. The proclamation is federal, but there were states that did allow some women to vote.
Yeah.
Right.
Massachusetts in the 1700s, actually. Stanton, that lady, she got a vote in her county. She's the only woman who got a vote.
I think Utah was pretty early.
That was
for
weird.
some reason, I think it was a Jeopardy clue a couple weeks ago that
It was Utah, Idaho, and Colorado, of all places. I could see Colorado, but Utah and Idaho?
I graduated from high school in Idaho, and that surprises me.
Yeah, what part of Idaho? Although they're getting quite liberal in Boise.
I spent my last 2 years in high school living in Idaho Falls, Idaho.
Oh.
I grew up mostly in Pittsburgh, but there you go. Fun fact, I graduated from high school in Idaho Falls.
Oh. That must have been a change.
Yeah.
Was a little bit, but yeah, was a little bit of cultural shock. That's where I felt like, we do study abroad in other countries. Sometimes I feel like we should do inter-country study abroad for a semester.
Totally.
Because I'll tell you, now a lot of my family is Midwestern. My husband's from Indiana, and so we go to the Midwest quite often. So my kids have a sense, even though having grown up in Seattle, that this is not how the rest of the country is. But I think for a lot of kids who have never left Seattle that have no clue what Indiana.
Yeah.
And Cheryl's been,
right? Cheryl's been to China. You've been to repressed countries. You've been to China. You've been to Russia.
Our beautiful daughter is, we adopted her from Latvia. And even during that time, they still didn't look up and smile at you, or, they were too worried about what anybody could be working for the government, and anybody could turn you in and cause problems. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I think travel is very important.
I think so.
Yeah.
I got married in the Bay Area and then moved to Idaho, Caldwell, Idaho, of all places.
Or even if you can't, if you don't have the means to travel, to go to different countries, you can always host an exchange student.
Yes. We had several exchange students.
Right.
Growing up. It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun. My mom grew up with lots of foster kids in her house, and so she always wanted to foster, but we moved every couple of years, so that was not
really.
So her solution was we had exchange students, because that was just, we always knew we'd be staying for at least the rest of the school year wherever we lived. So lots of exchange students, which is fun because now she goes and visits them all over the world.
Yeah.
Where were they from?
Their family. My mom went back to school, mostly Spain, because my mom loves Spain, and she even went back to school. Her midlife crisis was she wanted to be fluent in Spanish.
Oh,
It's an excellent midlife crisis.
Right? So she went back to school, went back to college, and got like a not another degree, but a proficiency type type deal, which was hysterical because then she did do a study abroad in her 50s.
Oh, cool.
To Spain, which just made us laugh because the family she was staying with had a teenage, a high school aged boy who probably thought, yes, like we're getting a college girl from the States to live with us. And then this like postmenopausal woman shows up and it's probably not what he was expecting.
But his parents, the boy's parents, were probably stoked.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So
oh, that's awesome.
Nice
Be like your mom.
So it looks like the only two people not stitching is me and Michelle.
Yeah,
Michelle, aren't you doing your piece that you might accidentally show us? What? Oh, look at you.
Look at that.
Oh,
I
nice.
did this.
Yes.
This was a little bit over 1,000 stitches for an Enchanting Stitches monthly.
So are you doing yours on linen?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had already started it when Michelle first talked about all the extra dates, and this is a piece of mystery linen from like a color and cotton grab bag, and I don't have a whole lot of margin, so I got to figure out where they're gonna go. I think I'll probably I might end up just like that, like tiny like back stitching under the.
I wonder what people are gonna do. Are they gonna just? Michelle, are you going to chart it?
So.
No, I'm kidding. How would they do it?
We need something else on our plate for sure.
I'm going to say, leave that one as it is. Because there's going to be a design coming out this summer that incorporates all those other dates.
Oh, cool.
Oh, even better. I was thinking.
That is.
I was planning though, because this was, charted for the centennial, I was thinking of moving, hello.
I'm leaning in. Let me just get mine.
And then doing like the 2 stars and then putting 2020 underneath.
Oh,
that would be nice.
Yeah, I wonder why they,
So it'll say vote 1920, couple stars 2020. It'll be a little more.
Great idea too.
I like
it.
That.
Works. It fits.
Plus, do you guys love how easy it is to put the year 2020 on things?
Yeah.
Because
I didn't even think I'd be alive.
You only need to find 2 numbers. You don't need to find 4.
Right. Well, and they're already on there, so I don't
already there.
I didn't even have to figure it out.
Yeah, so you guys talked me into it. I'm gonna stitch this.
Well, when you have time though, because you got to finish what is it you're working on right there?
She's not going to start it now.
No, I know,
it's not this moment.
What are you working on there though?
I am working on my last model for market.
I know, I'm trying to see.
Yeah, you're not going to see. It's hidden. Good try. You
I know
can see
you're
Autumn on Lazy
yourself, but I feel like you got to be right on track. This seems like plenty of time.
Yeah.
I think, right?
You have to have it done by tomorrow?
I want to have it done by tomorrow because it's a collaboration with another designer and she's waiting on me.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't like to make people wait. That's what's stressing me out.
Yeah.
Because I have another one of mine, like one of mine is still being stitched and one of them's on its way back to me in the mail. That doesn't stress me out.
Right.
Because those are just mine.
Yeah.
You know, when you have somebody else that you're making wait,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
it makes me feel bad.
How long have you been designing for yourself, Michelle?
Like 5 minutes. I think my first one came out.
When I
wanna
met
say
you,
it came out like in July.
yeah.
My first one, half a year, like
Yeah.
barely at all.
Isn't that amazing? A woman didn't have the right to vote how long ago? And here you are in your own business, doing your own thing.
I know. My husband working for me.
Yeah.
I mean, don't tell him I
I love
said that.
that.
Working with you. There's no such thing as working
No.
for.
He's-
Working with.
He's so integral to everything, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's another design coming out this summer. That'll have all the dates.
That's cool.
And I have to finish this one up too sweet so that I can do that one before November too.
But
Are
if you
you
guys want a
going-
bunch of other dates, I mean, hit me up. I'll put like another border at the. I mean, it's easy though, right? Just duplicate a border and. Colleen,
No,
Cheryl, are you guys
it's
gonna put the
easy.
extra dates in?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
I think I'm just gonna keep it now that we had this talk about the importance of like exercising our right. I think I'm just gonna keep it. Maybe I might do 1920, 2020, like Erin said. I like that.
Yeah.
But I think I'll just keep. And what's the significance of the white dress? Do you guys know?
Yeah. Because remember, I made the joke I was going to make mine blue
Yeah.
and Cheryl was going to go red, and that started a lot of crap. Don't do
Yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, it started discussion. It's good.
We open our mouth.
I was joking because she is. We're opposites, sort of, but not really.
Yeah.
Like I'm the successful one. No.
Oh my
Still not
God.
touching it.
Oh,
Still not touching it.
family dinners must be fun in your house.
Can we come to Thanksgiving next year? Because I
Yeah.
think.
Yes.
Right.
We've officially invited ourselves.
Yep. Aaron and I will sit like at a buffet on the side and
We'll be at
Yeah.
the kids' table. We'll be at the
We
kids'
get
table.
you get a
Little
lot
bit
of
wine,
key
little bit
points, so
popcorn.
we're
I like it. I like it.
Oh, shoot. Made me make a
And
mistake.
a lot of the voting discussion in our house is
wait, I lost you. I can't hear her.
just, stir up some more. I kind of feel like the voting age, of like lowering the voting age to 16 and because 18, it's a tough age. Like most kids have just left the house. Like they're in college, like for, my daughter's right across the pond.
Yeah.
Right.
I could take her ballot, but like it really, it's hard for a lot of 18-year-olds to vote and to have them do that once while they're still at home.
Oh. Yeah.
And certainly my 17-year-old who will be 18 in December, this
Oh,
coming
wow.
December, certainly feels
You know-
like she's working,
Yeah,
she's
that's
paying
true.
taxes.
That's true. I think it's interesting. I think that's an interesting proposition because they were saying in the UK that if 16-year-olds had been able to vote, that the Brexit thing might have gone differently.
Mhm.
Ugh.
I just feel like it's a whole, not to open that can of worms, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
like it's a whole different perspective. And I think the argument against is like most 16-year-olds would just vote with their parents.
Yeah.
But I'm
Right.
going to say like, do you know any 16-year-olds? Because I don't.
I know my father didn't feel like 18-year-olds should vote.
I'm
And the
sure.
older I get, the less I'm going to feel like 16-year-olds should vote because I'm
Yeah.
gonna
I'm-
get old and
right.
angry.
Right. Although I have I have an 18-year-old and no, she's not 19 yet. Oh, good Lord. Cold meds.
What
I
is
know, I
that?
have an 18-year-old and a 17-year-old, and honestly, they're fairly thoughtful people who certainly have their own opinions. I mean, I'm sure that there are a lot of 16-year-olds who are not and don't, but quite frankly, I'm 44. There's a lot of 44-year-olds who are
Yeah.
way less and are less engaged than my 17-year-old. So,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Agree.
I think
Yeah.
some of what I would I haven't thought enough about it because I don't have any children that are near that.
right.
But I think I do have grandchildren near that though.
I know I have grandchildren that are 18. I'm just like, wow, I'm old.
But I think my only thought to that is if your children are in public school, I don't know if they're taught government as well as,
Yeah, they are.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm asking that.
Oh yeah, my kids, they have to take, it's actually a graduation requirement in Washington that they have to take a civics class,
Oh,
or AP government
okay.
covered.
Who has
Like
a-
So they understand, because I'd say, I mean, even Colleen and I, when we sit at home talking about, we're in our 60s and we forget, right? Oh yeah, what is that? How many houses? What is that?
I definitely knew more because we had that same civics requirement. I definitely knew more as an 18-year-old coming out of high school about the way the government runs.
Yeah.
Than I know now.
Carol,
like, I've forgotten so many details, Cheryl. I'm with you. Like,
yeah.
I don't remember all the ins and outs. I remember, there's 3 branches, and I know you need term limits in the House and Senate. I know that, but other than that, I don't.
I know. So it's like if you know that, I mean, like I know my granddaughter who's almost 16, she does, but she goes to a private school and she's had government for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think some of the issue is that people don't know the government. They don't understand the Constitution. They don't understand, old, young, whatever. I don't have really an
we read it,
opinion.
and it's just biblical. It's just like religion. It's how you interpret it. So it all,
Yes, right. And you need those opinions.
Yeah, so that's been an interesting conversation in my house the past couple of years, because my 18-year-old was in the last, kind of bigger general election in 2018. She was 17 and couldn't vote yet, and was a little frustrated by that, and did a lot, like she even did a lot of work like at her high school registering kids, even though she couldn't vote yet.
Oh, wonderful.
We were having a lot of conversations about voting and such, and she knocked a lot of doors with me, and
that's wonderful.
That's really cool.
Grandson to where'd I take him? You voted either for Bernie or Hillary. It was a Democratic.
Oh, the primary.
The primaries.
No.
Oh, the caucuses.
Yeah, in Snohomish. And he wanted Trump because he was being a brat child. But
I wanted
maybe not so much with their parents.
But remember Quinn? Quinn went there, and that's what he and he got to be involved in that. And there was a 17-year-old there that couldn't vote, but he was there registering people and doing stuff.
Registering, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. But Erin, you're right. Like, I remember my first vote was when I was 18. My first election was the 2000 election. And I had just been at college for like 3 months. And I remember a group of us, it was like, on Saturdays, a big group of us gets out, goes together, like walks to a party. It was voting. It was like Thursday. And a big group of us was walking around the city trying to find our polling place.
Yeah, right.
Because it was literally in somebody's garage. Like people in Ann Arbor, Michigan will open up their garages to be like mini polling places to accommodate all the extra students. So we had to find our garage polling place, and it took us 90 minutes. I mean, we were just wandering around trying to find it.
Right.
Any less exciting. That was an exciting election because Barack Obama, right? But I think any less exciting, and we would have bailed. We would have given up.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh yeah. Especially had there been like a huge line or something too, right?
Right.
You got to get to work, or yeah. I miss going to a polling place and getting my I voted sticker, but I do love mail-in ballots.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Did you guys stitch though? Did you stitch the I voted ink circles?
I have that one, but I haven't done that.
No, but I should.
Have you seen it? It's a freebie.
Seriously, I need this.
Yes, I never,
You haven't talked about this one.
Oh, get out.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then I
need
put
that.
a magnet on the back of mine so that I can wear it every
Oh,
Michelle, where did you
I
get
need
that?
this.
I'll send you guys a link. I think it's just on the Ink Circles. Blog or something.
And
I'll find
it's
it for you.
small. I can finish it.
It's manageable. It's a manageable size.
It's a manageable size.
I'll
Yeah,
put it in the chat box for us.
I do kind of miss going a little bit, but it sure is a lot more accessible to sit at home with my voter pamphlet.
My son's real involved with Redmond, his group, his neighborhood. voting people.
James?
Yes, James. And Microsoft would have, him and his buddies would get together and they wanted Mark and me to come all the time. They call it Wine and Philosophy, wine, W-H-I-N-E. But you also got to drink wine.
Nice.
And it was, they wanted to know what us old people, they wanted our opinion.
Or as my kids would say, okay, boomer.
Yes, yeah. Oh,
The
great.
first time one of my girls said that, I was like, do you even know? Like, do you understand?
Yeah.
Like, that's your grandparents. Your grandparents are baby boomers.
Yeah, you're not the boomer. You're not a boomer. What are you guys?
Yeah, we are.
Right.
Slackers.
Well, I'm older than Michelle. So I'm a Gen X.
Gen X.
The little forgotten. Which then when my kid said to me, okay, boomer, and I was like, excuse me, step back. I said, I'm actually Gen X. And she said, that's not a thing. I was like, yes, it is. Go to the Googles.
Yeah, James is 45. So
He's Gen X.
Gen X, yeah.
Yeah.
All my kids are Gen X, except for my daughter is, what's the one after Gen X?
Millennial. Your daughter's millennial. No.
Are we millennial? Wait, hold on. I'll Google it.
Yes.
I feel like you're probably an elder millennial, Michelle.
Yes.
I think I'm on a weird
wise
cusp
one if she is.
because Wade's a Gen X. Oh, apparently there's an iGen/Gen Z.
Oh.
That's my oldest. Sarah's, I think, Gen Z.
This is so weird.
Yeah.
Okay, baby boomer, Gen X, 1965 to 1979.
Yeah. That's
And
it.
then Xennials,
Yeah, that's
1975
mine.
to 1985. Oh, like a cusp of a Gen X and a millennial.
Yeah.
That's me.
That's
And
you.
then millennials, Gen Y, Gen Next, and then iGen, Gen Z, and now apparently we're Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha.
I don't know what that is.
Because the generations I've seen, they were saying it's like the ages, or how many years between generations is kind of actually shrinking. Because
Yeah.
it has to do with like the climate, technology, and stuff that those kids are growing up in, and it's changing.
Oh,
It's speeding them up.
Shrinking, because I'll tell you, my oldest is 18, my youngest just turned 14. Very different growing up experience.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even
True.
Cheryl and me in 5 years apart.
they're very different. They're very, very different kids, because the 14-year-old has never known not having a computer in her pocket.
Yeah.
right.
The older one did not grow up. Like, her first phone was like a little flip out
Yeah.
board, right? So
Or Rosie with the talking to the.
Oh my gosh.
that's so
This morning
funny.
there was an alarm going off, right? And she was like, I keep telling Alexa to stop, and she's just not stopping. And I'm like, it's not, you have to pick it up.
You have to actually touch the thing.
Yes.
She's like, that's so weird, Mom.
Yeah.
It's so the opposite of my husband. Before we left, he wanted to ask the Alexa a question, and he's yelling at it.
Yeah. I yell at it too.
Alexa, music. I said music. I'm saying, honey, you have to ask it right.
Ours is getting creepy. Ours is like speaking to us unsolicited.
Yeah, that's
that's
weird.
scary.
And it's getting out of hand. Like we actually we have one in every room, of course, because that's how we roll. No, that's exaggeration. We have one in the living room, one in the bedroom. But the one in the bedroom, we turned it off because it like listens to our conversations and chimes in occasionally.
Yes. Yeah.
See, I think I use mine most exclusively just as a Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah.
Or as a kitchen timer. Like
That's what we use.
that's pretty much exclusively what it does. Is like, I have like 5 times cooking dinner. I have like 5 timers. Like, how much longer?
Yeah, I'm not normally a conspiracy theorist, but have you ever noticed how I was talking about Daily Harvest, this really good frozen
Oh yeah, I have some
drink that, and then next thing I know, it's up on my Facebook.
Oh no, the targeted ads are
Don't
really
tell me you wear
creepy.
foil on.
And I'm like, that is too weird. So
You know
then
what
I
Alexa is
wanted to
good
turn
for,
it
though,
all
guys?
off.
Hey Alexa, tell me a Star Wars joke. Every time. It tells good jokes.
Oh,
Alexa tells
Daryl,
good
that's
jokes.
what you need to do, because your jokes suck. You need to ask Alexa for.
Hey, I'm gonna start doing that every week though. I
The
love
Alexa joke
jokes.
of the week.
Yep.
Yep.
Are you guys going to First Thursday in February?
Yes, I bought my train ticket yesterday.
For
I
train
can't
tickets?
believe you come all the way down on a train.
From
That's so
Redmond.
cool. I love
It's
it.
really fun. Well, I drive down to Tequila and catch the train in Tequila.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is
It's
Wade
fun,
having
though.
train in February?
It's way better than driving because I can
Yes.
sit there and
It's
stitch.
yeah.
I think I'm on my own in February, though. I don't think Robin or Carrie can make it, so it'll be solitary.
Wade's last chemo is February 3rd, which is that Monday.
So
Oh, yeah.
I should be there. I should be there.
and we will celebrate big time.
I hope so.
Although you might have to rest too, because it's just exhausting.
It is resting. You guys, it's when, you guys know, like when you go to First Thursday, it feeds your soul.
Yeah,
You know?
it
Like
really
I leave so tired, but also like so just like.
I don't know. I've only been there once.
You need to come more. You need your soul fed.
Right.
For sure. It's a long day, but totally worth it.
Yeah, definitely worth it. And then just leave the credit cards at home because Janine is a.
That's
No,
so true.
okay, this is the only thing I'm like so scared with Stitch from Stash. Like,
Let's keep each other strong.
I would do damage at
It's
first.
hard. It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
But you can still stitch from stash and but fabric doesn't count and floss doesn't count, does it?
Oh yes, it does. Oh yes, it does.
Why would you
That's our world.
stuff like that? What happened?
Everything counts.
Everything except what
The
does
charity.
Oh yeah, I was excited about that. And then I did have a question. Like I looked through the things. I bought some like finishing items. Like I bought like a frame and stuff. Does that count? Like to FFO things?
What
I
happens if
didn't find anything in the files about it.
you
That's
get?
a good question. I
what-
feel like
There's no rehab
like
for stupid
maybe
guys.
it
Get what
doesn't.
you
Let me
want.
look. I'll let you know. I'll do some research.
I perused and I couldn't find the answer to that, and I have not yet like put on my big girl panties to actually ask a question.
You don't want to know.
Alaska. I just got a stroke. Let's ask Alexa.
Alexa, does my Target dollar shop frame count against my Stitch from Stash budget?
Oh,
Yes, it
I'm
does.
gonna have to look this up because
I don't, okay, I don't know if it's official or not. I never count finishing stuff against my budget. I never do.
some don't
I-
have fabric.
I couldn't find anything in the files about it, so I'm going to assume no.
What if you weren't kitted up? You'd have to do like in the 1700s and stitch from cowgut. How would you do this?
Well, you get a budget. You get a monthly budget
You
up
get
to
$25.
like
$25 a month.
$25. What's that gonna buy?
Okay,
I am
maybe
not
Stitch
this-
from Stash isn't for you, Colleen. Maybe
You
it's
get,
for you.
yeah, maybe not. It's not for everybody. I'm not sure it's really for me, but it sure is making me want to like finish some stuff. And I did kind of how when you say like, oh, I'm going to start eating healthy on Monday.
Oh,
That weekend is like every meal is the last meal.
yeah,
That was me shopping in December.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I
You need
hit
to
it
get
up
your
like
shaker
half
box.
the things I want to start for Mania.
You
Yeah.
have to get your shaker box, so you can't be.
I know. I did not get that shaker box for my birthday's coming up though in March. I think that's the only thing that's gonna get me through market. It's like everybody like, what do you want for your birthday? Just give me money to spend at the cross stitch store.
Right.
I would like call Janine and say I would like to buy everything in Erin's bag. That's what I want for my birthday.
Finishing products do not count.
Yay! Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you ladies. Since I've been up here at my mother-in-law's, or actually my sister-in-law's house, my back hurts so bad from her chairs. So are there cross stitch chairs? Or are there, posture things?
There's CBD oil.
What about
Oh man.
what about one of those things, those like the lumbar support that you put in the car?
Yeah.
That might be good.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I don't know. I'm not the person to ask. I have like the worst posture. This is not my normal stitching spot. My
My
normal
posture is terrible when I
I
sit.
sit like this.
on the super broken couch, right? Like it's so broken. Like we need a new couch.
I've
Yeah.
been sitting at chemo all week with like sitting back in my chair with my leg up and my
Yeah.
frame on my knee. Like,
Okay, I shouldn't have asked you guys.
that's not good.
I sit back on the couch with my feet up on the ottoman, and I call it the Leslie Hurley stitching. This is literally how I stitch, right up here.
Yes.
Okay, now when you
Yeah.
guys get
Yeah,
older,
all the time. That's it.
Yeah,
Huh?
no, we will. But Cheryl, so I just got this.
yeah,
Cheryl, you have one of those.
it's a lap one,
Oh.
but I haven't used it yet.
I put it, mine's a lap one too, but I put it on the table and I put it a little higher than I think I should have it. And it
Okay.
really makes me sit up tall.
Yeah, okay.
Because I notice when I start slouching, I can't reach my stitching anymore. Like
Right.
my arms start to get tired.
I get back spasms when I slouch, and I've slouched.
Oh, man, I was getting them like they were so bad.
Well, you're tense.
It was like I had to just drop my arms.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Never had that before.
Colleen,
There
that
is
was
a
my
gal at,
model. Did you catch it?
What was that?
That was my model.
Oh.
I just flashed it at Colleen. She didn't see it though.
What did? Oh, you little shit! Let me see it again. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I told you could mute me if necessary. I could rewind.
It's okay.
There's a gal at our like library stitching, and she brings some kind of like pillow that sits in her lap, and she puts her arms
Ooh,
on
that's
it.
Oh,
And, then she stitches, and we notice that she's the only one who's not like this
What about
Right.
like a body
at the
pillow?
library. And it's like, I think it's really like one of those kind of like lap desks.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
But then it makes her put her arms up, and it does make her sit up a little
Oh,
straighter.
good idea. All right. Thank you.
And then not being stressed about your mother-in-law helps too, or
Oh, yeah.
other things in life. So. But
There's
anyway,
no cure for a
guys,
mother-in-law.
What was that, Michelle?
I said there's no cure for a mother-in-law. There's
Well,
no
there is.
workaround.
no.
Everybody gets one.
Yeah, that's well, she's actually really sweet. She's super sweet.
Good.
That's the problem.
I say that right now because Wade's mother-in-law has been living with us for like 2 months. My mom.
Oh, your mom has been taped. I was gonna say, she's not.
She's been here since the chemo started, and it's been like we couldn't do it right without
Right.
her. There's no way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Where does she live normally?
Michigan.
Oh, she's from Michigan.
Speaking of the Midwest being a different world, that's where I grew up.
And see, we go to Michigan every summer.
Where in Michigan, you guys? Like where Theresa is?
I don't know where Theresa is.
I don't know where Theresa is either.
Somewhere
Arbor.
by Creek.
Oh, my middle is headed to Ann Arbor in April to look at Michigan.
That's where I went. Go blue. It's a good
They
school.
have a lot. The
Doing
Midwest has
sort
cool
of thing.
retreats.
Yeah.
She might like it. It's a good school.
Yeah, and they have a really good dance and psychology program, and she can double major.
Nice.
Where's she going? She's
Nice.
not going
Oh.
to university.
You can learn a lot of psychology just coming to our house.
Not going to. Yeah.
That's Thanksgiving at the sisterly.
She'll get to see a lot of psychology at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
When we come
Oh,
here.
she can practice.
Yes.
She can go to school, learn, come back and practice.
Where's
Right.
she going, Erin?
She'll run out yelling.
Huh?
Where's she going?
Oh, she's just a junior. So
Uh-huh.
she's just starting to look and decide, and
You just want to go to dub? You dub?
taking the ACTs this spring. You know, junior year is crazy busy. So
Good for her to tour already, though. That's exciting.
Yeah.
we did a little last summer when we were in New York, and she fell in love with Barnard. That's
Oh.
super active. I know, right? So she's been doing a lot of ACT tutoring to get her ACT score up so she can
Oh.
at least be a
Michigan is-
competitive application to Barnard, where she can also
Michigan is like the most expensive public institution in the country.
Yeah. I put my
Oh,
kids
FYI.
in a scholarship.
Thanks, Michelle.
In state, not so bad. Out of state,
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah, well, I don't,
There's nothing. What are you gonna do? You
like, what are you gonna do? Right,
Go.
exactly.
Got those loans.
My oldest chose the closest and least expensive option of all of her, so I guess I can't complain where Abby wants.
It'll average out.
Yeah.
Well, and we joked, so when we were first married, I think I was pregnant with Sarah, we went to see a financial planner, right? And he did like the whole financial plan for us. And we said, he said, how many, kids do you plan to have? And we said, well, 2, maybe 3. And so we joke all the time that we have a very solid financial plan for 2 children. So yeah, we tell Becca all the time, like, Don't worry, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Yep.
How wise the
I was telling the older two, get good scholarships. I want to go to college too.
Yeah.
Help your sister out.
Right.
See, I'm not fiscally whatever because I didn't even financially plan.
My husband is. He's Midwest. His dad owned his own business. He's very, yes. We balance each other out.
It's all about balance, right? Wade is so good at planning, and I'm like,
I figure I'm not really in trouble until he starts like actually questioning. I was stitching last night, and he goes, oh, is that a new one? Is that a new bag? And I was like, no, I've had this in September.
Oh, geez, we used to do that too. Mark used to.
These are not the project bags you're looking for.
This is not the new project bag. This is not the charge you're looking for.
Yes. Mark was unconditionally.
I will sit in the evening and watch TV or whatever, and I have short attention span, so I probably stitch on like 3 different projects.
Oh,
while we're sitting
one
there.
of those.
Yeah. I think he thinks that I'm only working on one thing. I don't think he even has.
He doesn't even pay attention.
There's multiple things.
Wade asked me one time, he's like, because when I was doing my Startpocalypse to like not start anything in 2019, he was like, are you starting another thing? You should just finish some stuff.
Yeah, Michelle, you
like,
couldn't start.
I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to finish. Let me just work on one thing at a time. I'll finish it. We'll hang it up on the wall. And then I'll start another one. And he's like, you know what? Take your time. Start as much as you want.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want them all hanging on the wall.
I think that's the thing is, I think Drew only pays attention to the really big Harry Potter one.
Yeah.
And he knows that's going to take me forever. So I think he just assumes that that's all I'm stitching on. He'll have to deal in like 5 years with some Harry Potter thing on the wall. And
he'll put it in his office.
Yeah, he hasn't really noticed the other ones starting to pop up. The girls have though, right? Because they're like, are we going to be one of those houses that just has cross stitch all over the place?
Well, Erin, to be fair, I see. How long did we have to harass you with your wall?
Is that something?
Good, right?
It's great.
I love what Audrey did. That is so cool.
Audrey's so funny.
That's amazing.
Yes.
We'll get there. It's fine.
All right, guys. I don't want to be the killjoy, but I got to get Rosie off the bus.
All right.
Oh, have fun.
Thank you guys so much. I hope we answer people's questions about the Suffrage Act, or they suffered through us.
And look, I actually stitched part of it on.
You
And I'll
and
start
Cheryl. Let's see what
I call this a success because you convinced Michelle to actually stitch it.
I'm going to actually stitch it. I just have a couple things that I have to stitch first.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I'll
all right.
stitch it before the end of the year.
Michelle, what are you finishing?
My model.
Yeah, let's see.
And then this. You're so tricky.
That is cool. That really looks like that.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And then I'm in a Valentine's exchange, so I pulled this freebie off of the web.
What?
I just put up your chart number 1.
Yeah.
It's downstairs. I'm going to start stitching it tonight.
It's a quick one. It's quick.
All right.
I'm looking for that finish credit.
That's it. If you need finish credit, I got you. I got some quick ones for finish credit. $5.
Love it. All right. Bye, ladies.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.